Welcome to Navigating Minds, and thank you for joining us in our short form content, where today we will be discussing Mental Health Awareness Week's theme, movement. Joe and I are going to give you 3 of our most important topic areas surrounding movement, 2 of which are physical and 1 that's mental. So stick around for the full episode to find out on the last one, as we think it's a very interesting take. But Joe, starting off, Mental Health Awareness Week, what does this mean to you as a whole?
Oh, mate, what an opening question that is. It means everything to me. I think when Mental Health Awareness Week first started being talked about, that's when I sort of made my my coming out story, I guess you could say. I've used that word a lot. I think the heightened discussions around it is what gave me that sort of push to really have that open conversation with myself for the first time, which then allowed me to put it on my Facebook 7, 8, 9 years ago now. So it means everything to me, and I think it can do the same for other people as well.
For those who don't know, just briefly, can you quickly explain sort of like your coming out story of your mental health type thing, what that included?
Yeah. So I'd been battling for a very long time without sort of realizing that I was. And I think the sort of telltale signs is when my mum was really concerned about me. I hadn't really left the house for a number of weeks. And that was a telling sign for me because, as you know, I'm sort of a really active guy and I like being outdoors and working and keeping busy. And she said, enough's enough, we need to get you some help. And then that's when I sort of looked within myself a bit more and realized that I hadn't been well for a very long time. And that sort of manifested in sort of immense anxiety. And then I guess you could call it depression as well. And it got worse before it got better, but it meant that I was able to sort of look more inwardly and sort of recognize it in myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. First off thing, I know this is kind of our bread and butter. We talk about this all the time, but I can't wait to share it with the Navigating Minds family. And it's about physical activity, walking, being outside. That's our number 1 for this 3-part. And that's engaging in walking, whether that's hiking, being outside, enhancing your mood in exposure to natural light and surroundings to reduce your symptoms of anxiety and stress in particular. We do this all the time. And we think this is one of the best things, is especially in a world which is so driven by social media, being able to put your phone down, be outside in nature, be in your own head, be present and figure things out and just get moving. You've said this a lot. You don't need to necessarily do 10,000 steps. You just need to go and move. You need to be outside, and that is such an important thing. Increasing your vitamin D levels, that's incredibly important for mood regulation. So in this time, being outside, it's such a simple thing, saying to someone, go move, go walk. But it's actually quite hard to go and do that when you're feeling in a really down state.
It is.
Just recognizing you do need to be outside. A lot of you listening to this now, it'll be nice and sunny. Well, if you're in the UK like us, it'll probably be raining now when you see this. But being outside again, walking, exploring, the benefits that can do for your mental health and just movement as a whole is incredible, isn't it?
No question, mate. I think for me, movement's been my medicine, and that sounds really cliche, but for me, moving has definitely saved my life and being able to be more active. And I'm very fortunate that I sort of am in a sort of a green area where I can get out and about a bit more, and I belong to rugby clubs, but like you with rugby and cricket. I'm fortunate in that sense, and it's easier for me than it is for other people. But you're right in what you say. I think it's easy for some people. And it's harder for others. And I think it's just the getting started bit that people find really difficult. And it's that confidence piece. But sort of come back to what I said earlier, movement is for me the best medicine. And I'm a sort of a big preacher of it with what I do for a living. And I know you are as well. And like you say, something you said earlier about being present, that for me was really important. I think not being engaged too much in your phone and actually getting sort of at one with your environment and your surroundings. And if you have access to local parks and woods, I think those are sort of really, really key things for me for sure.
Agreed. Secondly, you just briefly touched on it there when you said about rugby, is being in a community through team activities. And I think that's a massively important point, whether it's joining a local run club, a 5-a-side football team, a group fitness class down at the gym. Being able to build social connections and sort of foster a sense of community, especially when you're struggling with your mental health at the moment, is so important. Having people there to hold you accountable when you might be slacking off, having people there to hold you accountable when those days you might not want to turn up, because it's hard to motivate yourself to do things on your own constantly. Being in a team environment and moving, whether that's in our case rugby, cricket, whatever it is, going to the gym. I love my CrossFit classes in the morning, and I love the community side of it. You know, you have like-minded people that are there who, in a way, are doing similar things to you. It could be similar jobs, or it could be the complete opposite of what you do, but you get to meet incredible people in situations you don't normally do. And being out and moving with them, these are really good people and people you want to surround yourself with, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think two things you said that were really poignant there. I think it's meeting like-minded people to have those really sort of critical, engaging conversations. If you are someone who, believe it or not, like me, I'm in a very social job, but I like my own space, and I'm a bit of a loner, actually. I prefer being on my own a lot of the time to being around people. So I think,
introverted.
yeah, massively so. Yeah, but I actually quite enjoy my own space a lot of the time, contrary to my sort of job and everything else. Maybe that's why. But I think rugby almost forces me to have that engagement. And secondly, what you said there, it's also meeting other people you might not meet in everyday life. You know, the amount of people I've met in rugby is probably a bad example, but certainly the gym is you're meeting people from all walks of life, and to have these engaging conversations with people from everywhere you go or from everywhere around you, you actually learn a lot as well, not just about yourself, but about other people. So it's a win-win-win, in my opinion. The sense of community, I think, is really, really huge. And that's lacking in a lot of people's lives due to COVID and other parts of people's worlds that have been going on for the last couple of years, because that sense of community has now taken everything away from in-person stuff and everything online. A bit like this, you know, everything is now online. So I think if you can find that sense of community in a social group or an environment like the gym or a walking group or whatever it may be, I think that is a huge, huge part of a fundamental people's lives that have been, unfortunately, since the pandemic has gone.
Agreed. I also think as well, mental health's a lonely thing, and being in a team environment, in my opinion, subjective opinion, it brings me out of that lonely state. Even if you're not necessarily socializing with people that you know, just being in and around people, as you just said again then, moving, exercising out in the sun or up early in the gym, or having that routine and having the people hold you accountable is such a big thing. Because again, as I briefly touched on before, when you're struggling with your mental health, sometimes if you go and try to make these big changes, like going to that gym class, going to that rugby session where you're already struggling in your head, it's a very hard thing to do. So if you can get into team sports, whether that is like five-a-side football, a local run club, a walking club, a group fitness class, please go and try it and use this as your sign to get out there. And please, please go sign up for something. And you might not enjoy it to start, but I promise you, you'll get into it. And once you get into that routine of things, you'll meet some great friends and some great people, I promise you. So that's the first one, was physical activity, so walking and being outside. The second one is movement and community through team activities. And thirdly, I find this so interesting, and it's a little twist because the first two are physical. This is a mindset one. And I read a post from Imperial College London, and they were saying how this Mental Health Awareness Week, they want to put a twist on the word movement, and they want it to be movement in people's mindsets, movement in the way people see things and the way they react to things in order to be a better person and self-develop in a way. And I wanted to talk on the point of movement in mindset. So continuously learning to grow and take up new hobbies, maybe pursuing an educational course, whatever age you are, or learning new skills, maintaining and enhancing your cognitive functions to strengthen your sort of network in the brain and adapt to these situations so you're able to manage stress, manage anxiety better, and improve the ability to also regulate emotions better. And I think it's such an interesting point. We talked of so many things in shifting your mindset, but what would be your tips on how to sort of shift your mindset, and a couple of them to start off?
It's a really good question. I think that the shift in mind piece is definitely poignant in me. People can get really comfortable and sort of set, and routine is really important, and you and I bang on this about all the time. But I think you can get really comfortable, and I think it's about pushing yourself out that comfort zone a bit more, and that can really, really improve your mindset in everyday life, because we're all creatures of habit, and it's sort of, there's safety in that as well. But if you are someone who has been doing the same thing all the time, and you feel like you're plateauing and you're not reaching those goals, and you feel like you're getting a bit bored, which is very, very common. I feel like just adapting your behavior slightly, adapting your routine slightly, and then maybe trying something new that you haven't tried before, or with someone new you haven't tried before with, those things can go a long way to sort of improving your mindset and shifting that focus from something that you've been doing for the X amount of months and years to something completely brand new. And that can go a long way to improving someone's sort of well-being in general.
I've said this a few times before, but just actively going out there and trying new things, which you wouldn't normally do, is so powerful. The effect that can have on you just as a person and the way you view things in life, having the confidence to go out and be like, I'm going to be rubbish at this. I know I'm going to be rubbish at it, but I'm still going to go try it. And you might not like it to start, but then it will get to a point where you find something you're like, I love that. And that will change how you view things. That will change the perception in how you go through life as well. And I think it's so important. So please, if you're out there, look at these 3 areas. You have, again, physical health. So being outside, walking, being present in your own mind, this Mental Health Awareness Week. Secondly, community through sport and movement through sport, whether that's going to a gym class, a 5-a-side football team, whatever that might be, something, go try it. Just get out there and go try. And third one is movement in mindset. So continuously learning to grow and just learning new things, trying new things and adapting, because a lot of people are comfortable being comfortable, and that is not where you want to be. You want to make sure that you're in the right mental health state moving forward and that you're able to take back control of your mind and not let your mind take control of you.
Unbelievable.
Awesome. We hope you enjoyed the first episode of our shorter form content. If you want to learn more about Anxend and the amazing work they do, the links are down below. On those links, you'll also find a free anxiety test to take if you wish. Let us know if you have anything planned on Mental Health Awareness Week down below. But for the meantime, I'm Tom.
And I'm Joe.
And this is Navigating Minds.
Cheers, guys.